Manga.
My name is Natsu. My mother was astonished when she saw me as a newborn. Ugh, why are you born ugly just like my sister? My aunt looks plain, but she's brilliant and well-liked by those around her. My mother has always hated my aunt, so she abandoned me because she didn't like my resemblance to her. She forced my grandmother and aunt to take care of me, and she gave birth to her second child who was absolutely beautiful. She gave birth to her second child a year later. You're a pretty girl just like me. For some reason in my family, the first one is ugly, and the second one comes out beautiful. And so I lived my life being constantly compared to my beautiful mother and sister in terms of looks. The clothes I was given were often rags from secondhand stores, and there were no birthday presents. My father was a workaholic and was barely home, so there was no point in asking for him for help. Dad.
Go to bed.
So no matter how badly I was treated, I'll grow up and leave home as soon as possible. I lived my whole life without giving in, with that as my only hope. When I entered high school, I started working part-time and saved up the money from my part-time job to buy tickets to my favorite artist. Then one day, for some reason, I saw my sister Rie holding a ticket to the artist I had purchased. That's my ticket, isn't it?
Yeah, it was on your desk, so I took it.
Why would you do that?
What? Because I love this artist. Give it to me.
No, I saved up all the money from my part-time job to buy these tickets.
Ugh, what a cheapskate. Mom, Natsu's being mean.
Natsu, you're the older sister. You should at least give your sister a ticket. Even if I give it to her, she better pay me.
What? I don't have that kind of money. Natsu, you're not only ugly but also stingy. What a terrible sister.
No way, Rie. You have money because you get an allowance, right? I don't get any allowance. I work part-time to make ends meet. Rie is beautiful and pretty. She needs a lot of clothes for dates, right? Natsu doesn't have anyone to go on dates with, so you don't have to spend money. I refused to give up on the tickets, so my mother gave Rie money for the tickets as an allowance, and Rie finally agreed. I decided once again to leave home after high school. Then one day, I met what would become my future dream. When I went to a farmer's field trip in high school, I saw a bunch of tomatoes growing from stalks that grew as large as trees in hydroponic. It was so fascinating and moving. I want to make these with my own hands. I told my parents about it as soon as I got home. I want to go to college and study agriculture.
That sounds nice.
College? I don't have any money to spend on you.
That's right. There won't be enough money for me to study abroad.
Study abroad? That's right. Rie wants to study abroad, so I decided to go along with her. I mean, Rie is a beautiful and pretty girl, right? I decided to go with her because I didn't want to risk some strange guy following her. But that would require money, right? That's why I'm going to use Natsu's college tuition to pay for both of us to go abroad. So Natsu, you're going to give up on college. Even if you go to college, you'll be miserable because you're such an ugly-looking girl. It was so awful that I couldn't stop crying. Then I ran away to my aunt's house. My aunt, who knew I always endured no matter how badly I was treated, was surprised to see me crying so hard. When I told her what happened, her face grew angry. Natsu, go to college. I'll pay for everything. I've always taken pity on your situation. But I'm so proud of you for not being dented in the midst of it all and living your life to the fullest. So, I'll fully support you. Auntie, thank you. I was so happy I couldn't stop crying. And so after I graduated from high school, I stayed at my aunt's house, studied agriculture, which I wanted to in college, and lived a fulfilling life. About 2 years later, my mother came to visit my aunt and I. Rie is getting married. Rie? Getting married? What happened to her study abroad? According to my mother, when she joined a study abroad club at university to gather information on foreign countries, she met Youre, an alumni. He's an elite employee at a major trading company and apparently handsome. That's my girl. To get an elite handsome guy right away in college. Unlike Natsu, that girl is brilliant. Is that what you came here to brag about? We're just chatting so far. About the wedding. Natsu, I don't want you to come. What? Why? I told them she's my only daughter. They wouldn't like it if she had an ugly sister like this, would they? So don't come to the wedding and stay out of our lives after the marriage. Even your father said if that's our decision, it's fine. Unbelievable as a mother. After telling me she can't pay for my tuition, she even told me not to get involved after their marriage. It's too much. I couldn't stop crying. My aunt cried with me as if it were her own. I was down for the next few days, but when I got past that, I was angry with my mother and Rie for what they had done to me so far. Auntie, I can't just let my mom and Rie get away with this. I want to do something to make them gasp. Yeah, I agree. We devised a plan, but it didn't take long to come up with an idea, and the collaborators came together quickly. Mom, I just want to make sure again. I'm not allowed to go to the wedding, right? You're a nuisance coming out of the blue. That's right, just like I said before. Shoo! You can't come even if you want to. If they found out she has an ugly sister, it'll be a disaster. I understand. I checked again, but it was the same. I contacted my aunt and our collaborators using the voice recorder I had in my hand as an evidence. And on the day of the wedding, I got a call from my mother. Natsu! Call Aunt Haru and Uncle Koji. They're not at the venue. No matter how many times I call them, they don't answer. I see. That's tough. Aunt Haru and Uncle Koji are all here with us though. We're having a sushi party right now, so don't interrupt us. What are you talking about? You should get over here too, sis. It's Rie's wedding. In fact, I recorded my mother and Rie's outburst on the voice recorder and played it for all the relatives to hear. My mother has always discriminated against the ugly team of relatives, and when relatives who didn't think well of my mother heard about how they treated me, they decided to boycott the wedding when they were invited. You don't want ugly people at your wedding, do you? Oh no! Shota's parents are upset. Please come. If you don't, the marriage will get cancelled. Yet none of us went. According to my cousin, who was the only one present to scout the event, Shota's mother getting down on her knees to her parents and Rie, whose makeup was sloppy from tears, surprised them most. Later, I went with my aunt to Shota's home to apologize.
Who would have thought Rie had a sister?
And Shota couldn't hide his shock. Rie's marriage was broken off after they found out about them trying to hide my existence.
The marriage broke off because of you. They are even charging me for the wedding. What are you going to do?
You brought this on yourself, didn't you? I'm cutting you off. Stay out of my life. After that, my father apparently left with divorce papers when her daughters came of age. According to my aunt, my father had an accident in the car he drove with my mother in it and married her to take responsibility for the accident. Perhaps he was at my mother's beck and call because he felt guilty about the accident. My mother apparently relied on Rie, but after Rie paid for the ceremony with her father's share of the assets, my mother, who has been a housewife for many years, was forced to work. I saw her working at the supermarket, but she looked tired, both mentally and physically. I was discriminated against since I was a little girl, so I had no intentions of helping my mother. I live happily with my aunt. I vowed that if I ever got married and have children in the future, I would never discriminate against them and take good care of them.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. What did you think of today's episode? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on today's story. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe!